Hello, 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 and happy Thursday. Or Thursday, I should say. Happy Thursday. So today on the video, we are going to continue working on our King Tut CSI document. So over the last 2 days, we have done documents 1 through 2. We did that on Tuesday. 3, 4, 5, and 6 was on Wednesday. Today, we are going to be working on documents 7 and 8, and we're going to work on bucketing. That means taking all our evidence that supports him being murdered in one bucket and all the evidence that supports him dying of an accident in the other bucket. And then once we have our buckets, you're going to determine which way you're going to go. Murdered, accident. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so before we start, I kind of want to show you this funny video. I know a lot of you have not heard of Saturday Night Live. I'm sure some of you heard of Saturday Night Live. Also, I don't know if any of you know Steve Martin. Of course, this is at the end. But this is a video he did, I want to say 30 or 40 years ago about King Tut. And again, it's just meant to be funny.
I'd like to talk.
Again, just to show you how influential King Tut is in entertainment, in media, in all, I mean, it's in fashion. It's on those t-shirts we talked about yesterday. Okay, so again, we are going to be starting with document number 7. Document number 7. So we're going to start off by up in our triple R, and you're going to notice document 7 and document 8 are fairly short. So I'm going to start off by up in R. I'm going to highlight my title. What is the modern day belief? So what is the belief currently? Again, we don't have to worry about prediction, number my paragraphs. Any extras, we do have an extra, this right here. It looks like an x-ray. It looks like it says Tutankhamun King Tut. I can't tell when it was done, the date on it. But I'm sure the text will say something. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by reading. Paragraph 1. What is the modern day belief? In 2013, a renown means like well known. So like if you're renowned, you are well known. And again, any notes I make, you have to make. So renown is like a well known. King Tut researcher, I'm going to get to my text too so I can see the notes I made. King Tut researcher Dr. Chris Nanton conducted an autopsy on King Tut's mummified corpse, and his results have put forward the most recent theory. And again, I want to point this out. Theory. Sorry. A theory is basically, it's like a smart guess. Okay, it's not just guessing, it's guessing based on evidence. So after this guy did his autopsy, he now has put forth this theory. It hasn't been proven, but he believes the evidence that he found supports this. On what happened to the boy king, Naughton discovered something interesting. When examining Tut's body as a whole, he had a series of injuries down one side of his body. So just on one side, they're saying. Tut had broken bones in his right foot, had a shattered right kneecap, as well as several shattered ribs and a broken pelvis, which is your hips. The fact that all this happened on one side of his body is a huge clue. Can you figure out what happened? Keep in mind what you already know, especially the x-rays you have examined and the motives of eye and hornhaut. So, injuries on one side of his body. It would go to assume, though, that whatever happened, either, I don't know, pushed or fell, he landed on one side of his body because he doesn't have injuries all over his body. It's just on one side, which is interesting. So let's go look at the questions. Number 1 says, can you find the break in Tut's knee? I'm going to be honest, these are kind of hard to find, but because you have Miss Morris, it's right there. You can kind of see how the knee bone broke apart right here and right there, like it's shattered. This should all be kind of one piece. And it's not. So we are going to circle, I'll do this. We're going to circle kind of right here is where the knee bone has been shattered. All right, number 2 says, based on what was discovered by Chris Naughton, what can explain Tut's injuries? All right, so number 1, we already did on there, so we don't have to worry about it. So number 2, what theory? Well, and we have 2 spaces for this. We could say if he fell off of something, I don't want it to be that far. He could have, sorry guys, I'm kind of tired. I'm really tired actually. Oh, okay. Sorry, that was my email. I never close it. If he fell, if he fell off of something, he could have fallen on one side of his body, causing the damage. And so it could have been an accident. I mean, he could have been, who knows? And he could have just, taken a little tumble and just fallen. And we know his bone disease made his bones very weak. So even a simple fall could have killed him. So a simple fall could have been fatal. Could have been fatal. Means it could have killed him. Some simple fall because of his bone disease. And the fact that all the damage is on one side is really kind of interesting. All right, I believe that's it. Yes, document 8, short, boom. All right, let's go to document 9. Same thing, up in our triple A, quickly. So this is document 8. We're gonna highlight the title. Again, this continues from document 7. What is the modern day belief? Number the paragraphs. There's only 1, Ms. Morris, only 1. But then, so we have some extras. You only have this one. And this is a picture of an Egyptian pharaoh in a chariot. But I wanted to get more pictures. A chariot is, it's kind of like a basket, I don't know, on 2 wheels. And during ancient times, Rome, Egypt, Greece, they would race these and they would go very fast. There were no seatbelts, all right? There was nothing in the back to stop you from falling out. So kind of dangerous. And yeah, kind of dangerous. So I just wanted to give you 2 more examples of what it kind of looked like. And that's what yours looks like. That's our extra. All right, so I'm going to read. Dr. Naughton's findings that Tut had several injuries on his right side are startling, but he believes they are easy to explain. Naughton claims that King Tut was killed in a chariot crash. Chariot races were very common in ancient Egypt, so this is not surprising. It is believed that something knocked the king off his chariot and while on his knees was struck by another fast-moving chariot, therefore shattering his ribs, pelvis, foot, knee, and even skull as seen in this previous x-rays. So this guy's taking the fact that he had bone disease, so his bones were weak, the fact that he has that skull damage, and the fact that he says all that damage on the one side of his body, he thinks that all proves that Tut was killed during a chariot race. It's an interesting theory. Okay, so let's go to document 8. Questions. Oh, that is document 8. What are your thoughts on this theory proposed by Dr. Naughton? Does this seem possible? Yes or no? Why? And again, you may put what you want. I just answered to kind of help, and you can add or change whatever you want. My thought was, it seems possible, but I have to say why. And I said all the injuries on one side support being struck. Oops. I also think though, maybe if he fell off and was going really fast and hit the ground, that would account for all those injuries too. So someone may not have even had to hit him. He could could have just been going really fast, fallen off, landed on one side, and because his bones are so weak, that caused it too. But either way, it seems possible. You know, it's not like they're like, hey, all the injuries were caused by a giant shark on roller skates, you know, flying through the desert. So that does make sense. All right, number 2 says, what factors could have caused Tut to fall from his chariot? Again, we don't know. We're making educated guesses. So I'm just thinking, what are things that cause people to fall, like off the bike or off a skateboard? All right, that's the things I'm thinking of. It could be going too fast, hit a bump or a rock. I mean, that'll make you fly. Also, maybe someone hit his chariot. Maybe someone hit his chariot and that made him fly off. Who knows? But any of those things could have attributed to him falling off. All right, last question. Number 3, is there anything you've learned about King Tut's health that made it difficult to stand during the rough and bumpy chariot ride? Explain. Again, I'm thinking back to document, which document was it? I'm gonna go back and look at my paper. Where is it when they talk about the bone disease and the fact that he had canes? Oh, document 6, paragraph 3 talks about the fact that because of his illness, my physics weird like that, he would have needed canes or walking sticks. So just in order to just walk, he needed canes or walking sticks. How difficult would it be for him to ride in a chariot without help? Because you're having to stand up. So that's something to think about. So, oops, wrong way. So question 3, I said if, and again, you guys can add to this, change it. Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm coming up with these answers based on my educated guesses on what we're reading. If you have a different theory, please, please, please write it down. All right. You don't have to do everything I do. I am wrong many, many times. You guys know this. So I could easily be incorrect. Okay. If his bone disease made it difficult to walk without a cane, how could he stand on a fast moving chariot? I'm wondering, how could that have happened? If he needed a cane just to walk, I'm wondering how he could stand on a chariot for, I mean, it's not like the race is like 2 minutes. They go for a while. So I'm wondering, how is he able to stand on that long without a cane? So, you know, maybe his bones gave, or maybe his legs gave out. Maybe that's why he fell off, because of his weakened bones. Who knows? Okie dokie. So that is that for our documents. So what we are also going to do today is our buckets. Here's the thing. I believe we have this paper. We're not going to do this. I'm not worried about this. If we were in class, we would do it, but we're not, so don't worry about it. I believe most of you do not have this bucket sheet, and that is my fault. I messed up somewhere along the way. So all you have to do on a blank piece of paper or on the back of something, just draw 2 buckets. Okay, you can draw 2 buckets because we're going to have 2 schools of thought. First thought is, yes, King Tut was murdered, and we're going to find the evidence that supports that. And no, King Tut was not murdered. And then we're going to have evidence to support that. Again, if we were in class, we would all do this together. But what I want you to do, and I know half of you will ignore me, is I want you to pause it really quick, make your buckets, and go through your documents and see, pull any evidence that you believe shows that King Tut was murdered and evidence you show that he was not murdered. pause this, go through and do that, and then come back. And I'm going to go through as well. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you what I found out. Again, you may have more than me. You may have different evidence than me. It's up to you. All right, so go ahead and pause it. Oh, welcome back. I'm so glad you went and did that. I know you totally didn't just keep watching this video and are just going to wait for me to give you all the answers. I'm so glad you didn't do that. Oh my gosh, guys. All right, so I'm going to go through the evidence that I found for him, the theory that he was murdered. Murdered. I'm trying to think the best way to do this. Oh, well, I'm just going to do it. People were angry at his father, remember, because he changed religion, changed capital, remember he moved it somewhere crazy, weakened the army. I mean, he did a lot of stuff that made people mad. So that was one thing why people are mad. And that was in document 2. We learned about that. All right, next. People, so another reason people didn't want Tut, we're just going to put Tut, to continue his father's ways. They didn't know, like, usually when you're a son, you just continue doing what your father did. People didn't want that. Like, we don't want you to do that. And they were a little nervous that he was going to do that. So that was from document 2. Okay, next one. I, who is his senior advisor, became Pharaoh. Immediately, I know I spelled that wrong, Immediatoi. That's probably wrong. Immediately after Tut's death. That looks a little suspicious. That was document 3. Also, I forced Tut's wife to marry him. And that's interesting too. After he did that, then she kind of just disappeared. We don't really know. They don't even know. They're still looking for her mummy. They still haven't found her mummy. They're still not sure exactly where that is. All right, document 3. And then another one is the little general guy, Horemheb, became Pharaoh after I, and that was in document 4. But also, I'm going to move this up so you guys can just pause it when you're good. Here, I'm going to move this up. Let's move that up. Let's try to make this a little bigger. Like that. We're going to put it there. All right, last one. The last one I found. Again, if you find more, please tell me. When Horemheb became Pharaoh, he tried to seriously, my spelling, erase all evidence and memories of Tut and his dad. So I can understand maybe the dad, but why Tut? Why is he trying to erase all evidence of Tut as well? That seems crazy to me. So that's in document 4. So from just when I did it, I found 6 pieces of evidence that support the fact that Tut was murdered. All of these are really good reasons why Tut would be murdered. But there also is a lot of evidence that talks about why Tut would not, that it wasn't murder, it was an accident. Oh, look, I got emails. Okay, so first one, DNA scans, and you need to write all of this down, not some of it, show Tut suffered from disease known as avascular bone necrosis. It's a disease that weakens bones. Okay, so we know that. That was in, let's see if we can move this up a little more. That was in document 5. Actually, it weakens or even destroys. I'm actually going to enter weakens and even destroys bone. So it's not like it just weakens them, it can also destroy it. All right. Next document is another piece of evidence is Tut had malaria. And again, most people were able to live with malaria, but if he had other issues going on, oh wait, these were document 6, sorry. If he had other issues going on, then the malaria and the bone disease, those two combined, he could have already been weak from the bone disease and then gotten malaria and it could have killed him. The combination of the two. All right. Oh yeah, next one is Tut had a series of injuries along only one side of his body. We got that from document 7. I'm trying to move this over so we can see it. All right, and then the last one I have is series of injuries consistent, that means fit, S-I-N-T, consistent with someone who has fallen from a chariot and been struck, like struck the ground, got struck by another chariot, either way. And that was document 8. So I'm expecting you're going to pause it at this point. You're going to go, oh yes, Miss Morris, I got this one and this one. And I'm not totally just pausing it and writing down everything you said because I didn't do it when you told me to. Either way, when you are done with today's lesson, you should have documents 7 and 8 done. So you should have this entire thing filled out, just like Miss Morris. And you should have your bucket sheet filled out. All right, because we are now tomorrow, you're going to have to start deciding what theory you're going to go with. Just because this one has more doesn't mean it's more correct. All right. They both have evidence to support either one. All right. And again, it's still like, there's still drama. There's still like people trying to figure it out. Notice on you probably can't see my Histories Mysteries wall. One of the mysteries we talk about is the death of King Tut. It's still unknown. All right, so I'm going to stop share. All right, so my hair's weird. I'm tired. I want to go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, call me, text me, Teams, whatever you want to do. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. I miss you. I love you. Make good choices. Be good people. Tell everyone I'm your favorite, even if I'm not. All right, bye. Deuce.